The significance test of the slope, using SPSS. Before we proceed to the significance test of the slope, we need to know first what is linear regression equation. A linear regression line has an equation of the form y equals a plus bx, where x is the explanatory variable and y is the dependent variable. The slope of the line is b, and a is the intercept, the value of y when x equals 0. In testing the significance test of the slope, first we need to analyze the linear regression by using the test of hypothesis. Hypothesis testing is intended to see whether something proposed is rejected or can be accepted. Hypothesis testing. These assumptions include considerations of the level of measurement of the variable, the method of sampling, the shape of the population distribution, and the sample size. In hypothesis testing there are two mutually exclusive hypotheses, the null hypothesis, H0, and the alternative hypothesis, H1. One of these is the claim to be tested and based on the sampling results. The claim will either be supported or not. The significance test of hypothesis using the t-test. The steps that we need to do for the t-test. The first step we need to 1. Determine the hypothesis. Ho. Beta equals 0 means variable x not affect the significance to the variable y. H1. Beta equals 0 means variable x affect the significance to the variable y. Now we proceed to the second step. 2. Determine the significance level. Level of significance, that usually being used as 5% or 0.05. The third step is calculate the t-count, using formula of t equal to b minus 0 equals to sb. T equals for the t-count. B equals approximation of the slope line of the regression line calculated through the sample information. SB equals the standard error of the slope estimate which is also determined through the sample information. Counting the t, table 9, critical value. The formula that used a over 1 and n minus 2. A equals significance. N equals sum of the sample data. Example. Significance 5%, 1 equals 0.05.
12 minus 2 is equals to 10. So t table is 181.245.
These are the example of the table that I got from Google. So the significance value of the t table that we are going to use is 169.236. The fourth step is 4. Decision making from significance analysis. If significance is greater than 0.05 then hypothesis is accepted. This means that there is no significant effect by the x variable on y. But if significance is less than 0.05 then hypothesis is rejected. This means that there is a significant effect by variable x on y. The fifth step is 5. Criteria for testing the value of t-count and t-table. If the value of t-count is greater than the t-table, then hypothesis 0 is accepted, and hypothesis 1 is rejected. If the value of t-count is lesser than the t-table, then hypothesis 0 is rejected, and hypothesis 1 is accepted. Now we are going to proceed to the process of using the SPSS. Okay friends, now we are going to the phase of practicing of using SPSS. But before we use this SPPS, we must prepare the research data that we will use. And now I am going to show you where do I get the data from.
So the data that I get it is from BPS or Badan Pusat Statistik. And we click this. And then in this part, I choose the ekonomi dan perdagangan. And I take it from the inflation section. Then I scroll down and I choose the tingkat inflasi bulanan gabungan 90 kota and tingkat inflasi tahun ke tahun gabungan 90 kota to get their respective data. And now I've opened the two data earlier and this is how it looks. This is the tingkat inflasi bulanan gabungan data and this is the tingkat inflasi tahun ke tahun gabungan data. I will take the data from monthly inflation, this one, to make it variable X, and I will take the data from year to year inflation to make it variable Y, this one. Both of the data I will get from year of 2021. Okay, so friends, this is the data that I took from the BPS website earlier. So this is the data where I took two data, namely the month inflation rate on 2021 and annual inflation rate on 2021. We just copy the data then we go to the SPSS application. Now we are on the SPSS application, and if you still on the this table, you need to go to the variable view table to make the variable X and variable Y. We click here and we put variable X and variable Y. In the label table, we need to put the table before, the name of the table before, month inflation for the table X and annual inflation for the table Y. And after we finish up to this part, we need to go back to the data view table. In this part, I will paste the data that I copy in the Excel before. Click here and paste. This all the data that has been appeared. This data, all of this data have 12 data.
After that, we go to the analyze section and we choose regression and linear. So in this part, we need to put the month inflation to the independent box and annual inflation to the dependent box. After these two has been put on their respective box, we need to click OK.
Okay friends, so this is the output of the data that we have entered in the SPSS that we have analyzed. Then the output look like this. We can see in this ANOVA table, in the significant part of 0.003, it states that the significance of 0.003 is smaller than 0.05. Previously, we explained that if significance is lesser than 0.05, then the H0 is rejected. This means that there is a significant effect by variable x on y. Then we continue on the value of t table. The t table value was 181.245, and we see in this coefficient table that the t value is 3.827. This means that t count value is smaller than the t table value of 181.245, which means H0 is rejected and H1 is accepted. So we conclude that the slope of the line is greater than 0. And now we continue to calculate the estimation standard error. So we can see the estimation standard error in the summary mode table in this section. In this section of the standard error of estimate, we can see that 11.06652 is obtained from the division between the number of residuals or the sum of the square of the residue or error 1224.679 divided by the number of the samples, that is 10. After we divided 1224.679 by 10, then we will get the results, that is 11.06652 that we can get from this mode summary table.